what is expected from you in a relationship, that is heteronormative. And when you are not giving society what it wants, that feels queer to me. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about Zendaya and Tom Holland's relationship and whether or not it is queer, using the framework from this book called Feminism is Queer by Mimi Marinucci that I just started today, because I have made a suggestion that I found Tom Holland and Zendaya's relationship to be queer in the past, and people got very upset with me and they were like, why are you calling a straight couple queer? And in my mind, it's because queerness is not just about being straight or gay, but it's about, do you follow the heteronormative societal rules? Do you feel like heteronormativity is the box that you live in or not? Now, if you don't have any background on Zendaya and Tom's relationship, they move in a very explorative, creative, playful way in regards to the dynamics of their relationship. I do not think it's your typical big masculine man, small feminine woman relationship. Not only is she taller than him, but she almost is the leader. A lot of times she does feel like the leader. And, you know, people have commented that both of them have identified as queer. I haven't actually researched that. Somebody said Zendaya looks for people in relationships, not necessarily men. I don't really know what Tom Holland's deal is. Somebody said that he's bi. These are all unconfirmed. I'm not saying any of these things, but I don't even think that's 100% necessary to the conversation. What is necessary to the conversation is your definition of queer, right? And what I love about this book is she uses different little phrases or sentences from literature that uses the term queer in every chapter. For example, in the beginning of the preface to the second edition, she puts in, "No, this is not my country. It's a place I have never seen before. Although I have wandered far and wide, it seems to be all the mountains and deserts and green valleys and queer cities and lakes and rivers mixed up in a very puzzling way." That's from The Scarecrow of Oz. There's lots of The Wizard of Oz, because in The Wizard of Oz, they use the word queer a lot, right? And we know that they're not using it in the way to mean gay. And so this book was very interesting because, okay, preface to the first edition is titled Not Just the New Gay. And she basically is talking about how the HBO hit Queer as Folk and Bravo's Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, later just called Queer Eye, have kind of made the popular culture associate the word queer with exclusively gay. And she writes, "I do recognize that the casual trend of replacing gay with queer ignores some important theoretical work aimed at exposing the representational limitations of gay and the comparable representational richness of queer. I also recognize that the oversimplification of complicated concepts in the popular media is a sure sign that the larger culture is at least vaguely aware of those concepts." So what I read this as things coming into the mainstream, they lose their integrity. We know that, right? About everything. People have become vaguely aware of terms like queer, but because of the way they've been used and associated with strictly gay, people's idea of queer is now more centered around strictly gay, when that is not at all what the all-encompassing term queer means. Mimi then brings up this concept of queering that she uses in her writing, and queering thus refers to the process of complicating something, because queer theory is noted as the recognition that shit's complicated, right? And so she says, "Indeed, it is queer to do philosophy without making arguments. It is likewise queer to live in ways that challenge deeply held assumptions about gender, sex, and sexuality. Thus, queerness encompasses even those who do not identify as homosexual, or even as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, but find that we are nevertheless incapable of occupying the compact spaces to which our cultural prescriptions regarding gender, sex, and sexuality have assigned us." Now, the reason I love this is because I have always felt that queerness to me is more than just gayness, and it's not synonymous with gayness. It's more, this is the norm, this is heteronormativity over here. And once you start to leave this small compact space that she's talking about, you start to navigate in a queer way. And this is why I feel that Tom Holland and Zendaya's relationship is queer, because they do not move in a heteronormative way at all whatsoever. I would say the star in that relation, not the star, but the leader to me feels to be Zendaya, that feels to be kind of obviously seen. They seem to play with their gender roles in a fun, new, explorational way that you don't see a lot, especially from quote unquote heterosexual couples. But I don't think that they're a hetero relationship at all. It's never been giving hetero relationship to me. And people have gotten really upset with me on the internet, and they're like, well, why did they get that queer credit? A straight couple shouldn't be given that queer credit. I think once you start to think of queerness as a credit card or as a card of validity that you get to hold close to your chest and you have to gatekeep from others, I think that's misdirected energy. I think that's dangerous. I think that's misinformed. Because in my head, all of us really deserve to be liberated from heteronormativity. I'm not saying everybody's queer at all. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying that heteronormativity is an oppressive box. It's not just about gay or straight. It's about the way you interact and navigate through the world. And I think a lot of times when you are moving in a way that social norms tell you not to do, if the woman is leading and the woman takes up more space, that's queer to me. And I think it's literally just on the basis of what is expected from you in a relationship. That is heteronormative. And when you are not giving society what it wants, that feels queer to me. Speaking of ways that we navigate the world, I have recently been looking for ways to reduce my carbon footprint and just find a greener way to live, because I'm very concerned about the quality of our planet and what we're leaving behind for future generations, which is why I am so excited to be partnering with Ren for today's video. Ren is a simple and effective way to make a difference during the climate crisis. It's a website where you can go to calculate your carbon footprint and offset it by funding a diverse mix of carbon reduction projects. Once you sign up to make a monthly contribution to offset your carbon footprint, you will be frequently updated with details for all the projects that you've funded. So you could get photos of the trees you've planted, updates on every acre forested, details on everything. One of the projects I love that they're working on is the biochar in California. I went to school in California. I experienced the wildfires. I have asthma. There were days where I literally went outside and couldn't breathe. This project helps prevent California wildfires by removing dead and flammable trees. They then turn those trees into biochar, which helps prevent carbon from entering the air for thousands of years. So offset your carbon footprint on Ren. The first 100 people who sign up using the link in the description will get 10 extra trees planted in their name. Now back to Zendaya and Tom. When you start to play in the space of what gender means and what the roles are, that feels queer to me. And if that feels really upsetting to some people, that somebody who may look like they could be in a straight relationship could be exploring queerness, I would encourage you to investigate why you feel so protective over a term that could be associated with freedom. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's something you need to gatekeep. It's not like race. You understand? I think a lot of people have made their sexuality, their identity to the point where they feel that they need to gatekeep it so much. And I'm like, things like gender are socially constructed. A lot of people are in straight relationships who are not straight, and they have never been able to dabble into queerness or queer spaces enough for them to even realize that they might actually be queer, right? And so it's more than a binary of black and white and heteronormative versus queer. It's how you move through life. Is it socially normal or maybe a little abnormal? That's all it is. It doesn't need to be, oh, we let straight people into the LGBT community now. When it starts to get cliquey, you're on the wrong track. Because I think it's bigger than cliques. And I think that's why Mimi titled the book, Feminism is Queer. She doesn't mean feminism is gay. She's not saying all women are gay. I believe she uses this title because she's saying feminism is complicated, it is playful, it is explorational, and it is weird. And that is how I feel about Tom and Zendaya's relationship. So sue me. Sue me. Yeah, but I am curious to hear your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.